The Rock is not planned for WrestleMania. Plus, we have an update on a WWE champion's contract status. And the WWE Netflix age rating has been confirmed. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling news right now.
Dwayne?
That's right, Jack. Dwayne? Question mark?
What's going on, Dwayne?
What's going on, Dwayne? The second most important Dwayne in all of entertainment, right behind Dibley, is apparently not involved in WrestleMania this year.
No, that's according to Sportskeeda's Chris Featherston, who reports, quote, WWE has decided to move forward in creative plans as if The Rock will not appear at WrestleMania 41 as of now. I've been informed that these plans could, quote, change at any moment, and WWE is definitely interested in using him if he becomes available, but he's not currently scheduled to compete.
So what was all this about?
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Was it 1, 2, 3?
And then there was the thing just after Mania where he gave Cody the gift back or returned whatever, and when I think you know what it is. I don't know. Also, it's been mentioned quite a lot on social media since this report's emerged, I believe, that a few months ago, someone asked The Rock in his Instagram comments, are you not going to be at Mania then? And he went, don't believe that bull crap. But that itself could be bull crap from Dwayne.
Brahma bull crap.
In response to all this going on, Sean Ross Sapp then took to Twitter and said, you know, he sort of backed up the initial report that we've talked about here,
and also added to the fact that The Rock kind of can do what he wants when he wants.
Right,
says he's on the board for TKO, and so much of this is based on The Rock's schedule outside of wrestling. We're kind of, in terms of what they were doing, they were sort of waiting to see what his schedule was looking like. But it seems as if, according to reports, WWE have just decided, you know what, we're just going to start making plans and assume he's not there.
Yeah, and if The Rock then, you know, it comes to Mania season and The Rock decides, actually, I fancy being part of it after all,
he can shoehorn himself in like he did last time.
They literally did last year. So even though WWE are moving forward as if The Rock won't be there, I don't think any of us would be too shocked if he then turned around and went, you know what, actually, because he has, as you mentioned as well, been dropping these little sparse clues throughout the year as well. So it's not as if The Rock is 100% not going to be there, but WWE are treating it like that, and with good reason, because, you know, you don't want to just work around this obstacle that might not even be there come Mania anyway. So I understand it from the booking point of view, definitely.
Meanwhile, one guy that's certainly been there consistently is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther. And he is scheduled for a match against Finn Balor at Saturday night's main event. But PW Insider have given us some intel on where Gunther is contractually with WWE.
Yeah, they say WWE World Heavyweight Champion Gunther is in the final stages of a new WWE deal. We are told that Gunther is either at the end of discussions or has just signed a new multi-year deal with the company. So he's either approaching the end of the negotiations or he has signed it. I'm not really surprised. He's been excellent.
Yes, he's been stunning. I can't imagine he's going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
He's had the run of his career as part of WWE. We mentioned it in the news podcast this morning in terms of in-ring work and in terms of physique. He is the best he's ever been right now, and I can't see WWE slowing down on the Gunther train anytime soon. I saw some conversations that suggest there might be a babyface turn for Gunther in the future, and a lot of people kind of just put that down to him working with Finn Balor, who's a heel. I don't see that happening.
I can see it possibly happening. Yes, there was a thing on this week's Raw where Ludwig Kaiser was advised, you know, you should try and maybe strike out on your own. Bron Breakker said to him, get out of Gunther's shadow and do it quickly because his stock is plummeting. And Kaiser could think, oh, maybe there's something to that. And if Kaiser were to turn on Gunther, I imagine out of the two of them, it would be the betrayee who turned face rather than the betrayer. So I could see it possibly with Ludwig Kaiser being the catalyst there. But for now, I don't think this upcoming, like you say, I don't think this upcoming match with Finn Balor is indicative of a babyface turn quite yet.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. But it's clear that according to PW Insider, whatever state they're in, he's going to be sticking around in WWE for a little while. We saw a new champion crowned this past weekend. Shinsuke Nakamura is the new WWE United States champion. There was some reports that came out after that saying that this is is part of this is partly to do with Nakamura's upcoming match at Pro Wrestling Noah in January. It's a big push towards that match to shine an extra spotlight on that, and that spotlight is going to be shown on the SmackDown broadcast in Japan this coming weekend.
Yes, Pro Wrestling Noah announced on social media that Ulka Sasaki will appear on the Japanese broadcast of SmackDown, which airs on the Abema Fighting channel on December 7th, ahead of his match with the new WWE United States Champion Shinsuke Nakamura. Sasaki is a former MMA fighter. He's had some fights in the UFC as well. He's very new to pro wrestling. I think he made his debut in 2023, but clearly has a lot of promise if they're chucking him in there with Shinsuke Nakamura straight away. I imagine their match will be a lot of stiff strikes and that sort of thing. And if this is, a title change to promote this big match that'll be big certainly for Japanese audiences, does that mean that after it's all said and done, LA Knight will be getting the United States title back?
I wouldn't be shocked if we see LA Knight get another run with the US title. I think the idea is to build him up as a multi-time champion. You can't be a multi-time champion without losing the belt a couple of times.
Yeah, and he lost it quite shockingly. It wasn't like the quickest match ever, but it certainly wasn't the longest either. There was also on the Go Home SmackDown, he was misted. You could say he wasn't at 100% going in. There is a route for the story to kind of fall in the direction of Knight gets another crack at winning back the title.
And also, you can't have Nakamura keep coming back into these big storylines to lose them all the time.
Yeah, I'm glad I was very relieved he won. Yeah,
you give him this amazing new look, this powerful new persona, and then you put the title on him. And I don't think any harm is done in having Nakamura beat LA Knight. I think LA Knight is either going to win that title back, or he's going to be in the Money in the Bank picture next year.
Yeah, you can move on to other things. Yeah, totally.
But for Nakamura and for WWE and for Pro Wrestling Noah, this is a really cool thing because we're going to see the WWE United States title, a WWE Championship on Pro Wrestling Noah TV in the weeks to come, and as part of that show on January the 1st. And it's a great opportunity, as you said, Jack, for Ulka Sasaki, who's going to be facing Nakamura. We don't know whether that match will be for the US title at this point. I would imagine it would be a non-title affair. But we'll keep an eye on it and we'll let you know. A lot of timelines have been crossing in wrestling lately. We saw Eric Bischoff turn up on NXT last night to field a debate between Ridge Holland and Trick Williams.
Now, having watched the segment now, Bischoff did a good job of establishing the theme of the segment, where he looked at both of them and went, Ridge, you remind me of wrestlers that I watched when I was a kid, Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher. And then he went, Trick, you're the future. He was kind of saying, you're a throwback and you're the future, but you're both brilliant. Then they had a fight, and Bischoff didn't really... That was it. A lot of people came away from that saying, why was Bischoff even there? Which I understand to a degree, but it hasn't stopped him from talking about it with Ariel Helwani.
And they actually explained the reason why he was there. When he was asked by Ariel Helwani how the NXT appearance came about, Bischoff said, just a simple call. There is another project that I'll be working on Wednesday, i.e. today, for Peacock. Because I'm going to be there anyway in Orlando working on that. Oh, by the way, there's a live show on Tuesday. Let's get him there and make him part of NXT. I think that's the reason it came together. Efficiency more than anything. A good opportunity. I've never been part of NXT, so it's a first for me and the audience. So it's more a fact of he's doing this thing in Orlando for WWE, for Peacock. Should we use him on NXT? Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
that's kind of how they've done it.
His involvement was quite limited. It did make me realise, though, that I miss a lot of the old themes, because he came out to his classics. And I thought, oh man, I miss the themes don't feel as diverse these days, and it just was a bit of a shame. He was also asked, could this lead to more WWE appearances, and said, I'm unemployable. I think that's going to say that.
Yeah. I don't know why it's come out so garbled.
In the
my
notes
script.
it says, I'm was employable. I think it's unemployable. He says, people don't mind bringing me in for a night, but you watch, you won't see me again for 6 months. A little bit of me goes a long way. I think I'm a little bit outside of the demo. There is some name value there. A storied member of the Monday Night Wars and the legacy that it created. It has some value, but realistically, it's limited. If I get an opportunity to do something like this a couple of times a year, that's all I can ask for, and I'm grateful for that.
Things like this are more impactful when they're limited.
Yeah.
When they're only for a brief time only. A bit like the Cultaholic.com, a bit like the CultaholicShop.com
There we go.
Black Friday sale, which continues
Yeah.
this week. 15% off the classics, 50% off everything else
What?
in store. I know!
That's mad.
Love how Jack wears a beanie hat. Get a Cultaholic beanie hat, and you can be Jack the Jobber for your Christmas party.
My goodness
And it's
me.
cheaper than it's ever been. What's that? You miss Barry the Shark? Of course you
Every
don't.
day.
But
No,
if
I
you
do.
It's got just five of these autographed. Tell you what.
Oh!
6 of these autographed. Left at cultaholicshop.com. T-shirts, extra merch, masks. We've got all sorts there. Wrestling buddies as well. The 3 faces of Pacitti as wrestling buddies. You and him were buddies, weren't you?
Buddies, weren't you?
And you get all your favourites merch flavoured. 15% off the classics, 50% off everything else for a very limited time only. And you know what? I know how busy we all are. You know, Christmas shopping. You know, all the the impending event that's going to wipe us all out. All that stuff. We're very busy. You don't even need to put a code in.
Oh my goodness
I know.
me.
What's the code? I can't remember the code. I've got so many things to remember. Don't need to remember a code. As soon as you go to checkout, they do the discount. Like the pen, I don't need it anymore.
Okay.
Like the code, that pen, don't need it. Cultaholicshop.com. It's a Black Friday sale that continues on.
Whoa.
Bang, bang, bang.
It's exciting. It's tremendously exciting.
As is WWE moving to Netflix.
Yes. Is Raw going to get some attitude back, maybe? There's been a lot of speculation about the TV age classification of Raw changing upon this impending move to Netflix. Nick Khan has told Sports Illustrated at the WWE Netflix media event recently, we are not changing the rating of our programming. There's some online chatter about, it's going to be R-rated or, for us folks, X-rated. That's definitely not happening. It's family-friendly, multi-generational, advertiser-friendly programming, and it's going to stay that way. I would look for more global flair, especially as the relationship with Netflix continues to develop.
So
it's interesting.
It was listed as having a TV 14 rating in the US for Netflix. It's listed with a 15 rating in the UK along with SmackDown. NXT has a 12 rating, but WWE has been presenting basically a PG product since 08, really. But we've seen it get a little bit edgier during the Paul Levesque era.
We have done, and I wonder if this means that it's going to stay that way when it moves to Netflix. Nick Khan there said it's not going to be changing, but that would imply that it's not going to move in a more kid-friendly direction either. Maybe it'll stay in this range right now. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people thought as soon as it goes onto Netflix, it's going to be effing and jeffing and blooding and gutsing. And I think it's going to stay sort of the level that it's at now.
I wouldn't mind that necessarily.
Wouldn't mind a bit of effing and jeffing?
I wouldn't mind it. I think like you said about when old veterans turn up and it's exciting when it's used sparingly. I think that is also the case in the modern age because obviously the Attitude Era had some tremendously exciting moments. But I think these days, if they committed to that all the time, it would lessen the overall impact of such moments. Whereas if occasionally you get someone bleeding or dropping a naughty word, everyone loses their minds.
That's like Jada Parker. She was a proper potty mouth on NXT.
I think that might have been an accident.
There was a couple of accidents on there. For the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out cultaholic.com. And we are mere hours away from the return of the Birmingham Swans to prominence, or at least out of the relegation
I
zone.
hope so. Twitch.tv/cultaholic. Join myself and Owen Mawson tonight from 6 p.m. GMT. And I hope we can fly. I just hope we can fly.
I hope you can stay safe and fly, swans, fly.